Hi, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create this letterhead in Word. So the first thing we need to do is to insert some graphics. So go up to Insert, Shapes, click on the drop down, and then I'm going to go down to this shape here, click on it, and then once you're over your page you'll see my cursors change to a cross, and then all you need to do is hold down your Shift key, click and drag, and that will give you a perfect shape. If you release the Shift key, then this is what will happen. And that's fine if that's what you want, but if you hit the Shift key, you can see it will turn into the perfect shape with the perfect ratios. Now, when you insert a shape, you'll see there is a very faint outline and there's a fill color. And those are two things that we want to customize. And this is where you can really fully customize your letterhead. So select your shape, go to Shape Format, then go all the way over to Format Pane and click. In the Format Pane menu, you'll see we've got a couple of tabs along the top here. And if we go to the bucket icon, you've got Fill and Line. Fill is the colour in the middle, and Line is the outline. So if we go to Line first, I actually want to get rid of that line. So I'm going to select No Line. And then I'm going to go up to Fill. And you have a range of different options here. Again, this is where you can choose what you have within your shape. So we've currently got solid fill. Now if I just move this over a little bit, if you go down to colour, you can see there's lots of different colour options. If you can't see anything you like here, click on More Colours, and then you've got your colour wheel. You can use this little cursor to move around the colour wheel. You've got the brightness slider that you can move as well, and your final colour will appear here in this square. So that's if you want to go to solid fill and change the colour, but I'm going to use a gradient fill. So if we just click on that, you can immediately see now my shape has changed to a gradient. Now obviously I've rehearsed this video and these are the previous colours that I've inserted, but this whole section here is where you can customise your gradients. So the first thing really is the colour. So in here we've got these gradient stoppers, and when you move these gradients it will determine how much the colour will spill into the next colour. So if you see as I move that, there's more purple on the right and less of the blue. Now you can change all of these and you can add them and you can take them away as well. If I want to add a marker, just click on the Add Gradient Stop, then I can go to Colour. Let's just change that to red to make it obvious, and you can see exactly what will happen if I add a stopper and add a colour. If again I move that, you can see how that changes the shape. So I just want to get rid of that. You can see when you've selected a stopper here because it's got a little orange outline, and again I'll go down to the colour. I can select recent colours because I've chosen this colour from the colour wheel. I'm just going to move that across slightly, and again you can select this one, go to colour, and select the colour of your choice. You can play around with the transparency and the brightness if you want to, but I've just left it as the default. You can also go up to the type of gradient here. If you click on this, we've got linear, radial, rectangular and path. So if I click on radial and then I click on direction, you can see these radial gradients are slightly different than the linear. They're really basically a circular gradient. If I click back on linear and go to direction, you can see they're gradients that are more top to bottom, side to side. Again, you can select from any of those. So I think for this one, I chose this gradient. Perfect. So now I'm going to duplicate this shape, and I can either do that by selecting it, going to the Home tab, clicking on Copy, clicking away from the shape and going back and clicking on Paste. Or I can hold down my Alt or Option key whilst this shape is selected and click and drag, and that will also copy out that shape. So I'm just going to delete that, and then in order to get the desired look, I'm actually going to change this shape's gradient. If I put this one over the top, you can see they're exactly the same. So I'm just going to swap this gradient around. So to do that, select it, go over to your gradient slider, and all I'm going to do is swap these over. So I'm just going to move the blue to this side and the purple to this side. And then when I put one over the top of the other to form the outline here, you can see now I can actually see it. So all I'm going to do is move that over the top. If I click away, you really need to even up the spaces here and here. And you can do that with your arrow keys. So select the shape and then you can move the shape over the top of the other one. I think it just needs to be a little bit wider on that side. Let's see how that looks. That's about right. So now I want to group these two shapes together to keep them in line. So select the top one, hold down your Command or Control key on your keyboard and select the other one. You see they're both now selected. Go to Shape Format and go along to Group, click on the drop down and select Group. And now I'm just going to push this up to the top like that, and I'm just going to make that a tiny bit bigger. Select it, hold down my Shift key. I'm just going to pull that out to make it a little bit bigger. That's about right there, perfect. Now I'm going to do exactly the same with some rectangles. So go to Insert, Shapes, click on the drop down and select the square. I'm just going to click and drag out a rectangle, and again select it, go to Shape Format, along to Format Pane and down to the bucket icon. I'm going to again go down to Line and select No Line. Go back to Gradient and again select the same gradient. And now I'm just going to copy this rectangle again, holding down my Alt key, and then click away, click back on the bottom one and swap those gradients over again. There we go. I'm going to place one on top of the other. Again, try and make those spaces the same as this one here. So I'm just going to use my arrow keys and then I'm going to select them both, holding down my Command and Control key, go to Shape Format, Group, select Group, and then I'm going to move them up here. Now you can see that this doesn't look right because these two shapes, or this grouped shape here, needs to go behind this set of shapes here. So in order to do that, just select it, go to Shape Format, go Send to Backwards, click on the drop down and select Send to Back. And now you can see those rectangles have gone behind this shape here. Now I'm just going to move that up. I just want to make this one a little bit wider because I want to bring it down to about here. So select it, go to Shape Format, Group, Ungroup, select the top one, and then I'm just going to select this little square at the top here and just pull that up. There we go. And then again, holding down my Command and Control key, select both of them. Go back to Group and select Group. Perfect. Now I've made this group, I can just copy it for the bottom of our letterhead. So again, holding down my Alt key, click and drag, and now I'm going to just spin that round. Oh, you can see I've affected the top one as well. So click away from them both, click back on that bottom one. You can see this circular icon here. Click on that and just rotate that round. It should click back into that horizontal position. Now, if you want to leave it like this, and you can have these two rectangles adjusted like this, you can do, but I'm going to adjust them so that they look more like this part here. So go back up to Group and select Ungroup. I'm going to select the rectangle behind and then just move that along to here. I will extend it, so go to this square here and just pull that down. Doesn't really matter where you pull it down to. I'm just going to move my arrow key to move it along and then maybe down a little bit. Once I'm happy, just select the other rectangle, holding down your Command or Control key, go up to Group and select Group, and then move that down to the bottom here. And again, this is personal taste. You can have it higher, you can have it further across. It really is up to you. But what I'm going to try to do is line it up with this part here. Now to do that, I can either eyeball it or I can go to Insert, Shape, Line, click, hold down my Shift key, drag out a line, and then I can move that line over. Let's use my arrow keys roughly to there, and then click on the bottom one, and then we can move this to line up with that line. Perfect. Once I'm happy, you can just take the line away, so click on it and then press delete. So once you're happy with the placement of your graphics, we can now insert some text. So let's look at the logo first. Now, I don't have a particular logo, so I'm just going to make one very quickly. Go to Insert, Picture. I'm going to go to Stock Images. I'm going to go to Icons. I'm going to type in circle. Then I'm going to select this one here, click on it, click Insert. Now, sometimes when this happens, your picture or icon will go behind your graphics. All you need to do is make sure you're on graphics format, go to wrap text, select in front of text, and then it will appear. I'm going to turn this white, so select it, make sure in graphics format, graphics fill, and click white. I'm just going to move that up to there. Then I'm going to go to Insert, Text Box, Draw Text Box. Then I'm just going to click and drag out a text box. Then I'm going to insert my brand name. Now when I click away from here, we've got a black outline or border and a white fill colour. We need to get rid of both of those, so select it, go to Shape Format, then I can go and use this little section here. Click on Shape Fill, click on the drop down and select No Fill. And again, this icon here relates to the outline. Click on this one and select No Outline. I want to change this text to white, so go to the Home tab, go to the text colour here, click on the drop down and select the colour of your choice. I'm selecting white. Then I'm going to change the font here to this one. I'm going to increase the size of my font, select Increase Font Size here. And then I'm going to change it to bold. Let's just decrease the size of that font using Decrease Font Size. And then I'm going to make sure that this word sits in the middle of this box. So I'm going to select Center Text. And then I'm going to hold down my Command or Control key and click on this logo. And I'm just going to center those up there. So go to Shape Format. You can go to Graphics Format, it doesn't matter. And then go to Align and then Align to Center. Click away. Check you're happy with the look of it. I'm just going to pull that down a little bit. That seems okay. Select them both. Go to Graphics Format, go to Group and select Group. And now you can move it round as one icon. I'm going to move it with my arrow keys just to place it roughly where I want it. That's about right. You can see you've got the cursor flashing here. And if I type, that's going to be where my words begin. Now, in order for my words to begin down here, I can either press the return key, but you can see I'm going to shift everything. So let's just go back. If I go over to my rulers, well, if you can't see your rulers, go to View and select Rulers. Now go over to my rulers here and you can see as I hover between the grey and the white section, my cursor changes. Click between there and you'll see there's a line that will appear and just pull that down. Now you can see everything has shifted. So all I need to do is select everything. I'm going to hold my Command or Control key down. Select that bottom as well. Then all I need to do is my arrow key, just literally nudge everything back up again. There we go. You see my cursor is still there, so I do actually need to pull that down a little bit more. And then my cursor, you can see, starts on the left here, and then you can begin to type. Now I've just forgotten one of the graphics, so I'm just going to select this box down here, go to Shape Format, go to Group and select Ungroup. Then I'm going to select one of these boxes, hold down my Alt or Option key and just select that, just copy that box. I'm just going to group this together at the bottom again, holding down my Command or Control key, select Group. And now I'm just going to reduce the size of this one. And then I'm just going to turn this around. And then I'm going to duplicate it. And then we're just going to bring them up here. This is just an added touch of graphics just to make your letterhead that little bit more interesting. So these now are a little bit too wide, so I'm going to select them both, holding down my Command or Control key, and then I'm just going to reduce the width of them. There we go, about where I want them. That's about right, perfect. So I'm just going to insert some text at the bottom here. I'm going to borrow this text box here, go to Group, and then just select Ungroup. And again, select this box, hold down the Alt key, click and drag out that text box. And then I'm going to do exactly the same because we need 3 of these. In fact, I need to customize this first. So select this box here, double click inside, Command or Control A to select all the text. And then I'm just going to enter in my website. There we go. And you can see this text is too big. So I'm going to select it all, go to the Home tab, go across to this Decrease Font Size tool here. And I think that's about right. There we go. Now I'm just going to hold down the Alt key and click and drag out another box, and then I need one more, but if I click and drag out again I'm going to get 2 boxes, so click away, click back on, Alt key, click and drag. We're just going to enter our text in here and then we'll even everything out. Now with all these boxes I just need to select them all, so let's hold down the Command or Control key and select them all. Go to Shape Format, Align, and then we want to distribute them equally, so distribute horizontally, and that will mean there's an equal distance between all of the boxes. And then we need to align them to the middle, so go to Align, Align to Middle, and now they're all perfectly lined up. So you can see there's a little gap this side and the gap that side. If that's not quite equal, then all you need to do is select them all, go to Group, group them all, so they're now all one element. And then all you need to do is just move the box with your arrow keys, click away, check you're happy with the placement, and then I think all I'm going to do actually is just move this box down a bit. I think there's a little bit too much, and then I'm going to move the text down. Check the look of it, check you're happy with it, perfect. So let's just say now I'm typing, you can see everything moves down. So there's 2 options here. If you don't want to put all of this into the headers and footers, which I'll show you how to do now, it's really easy, and you want to type, if I type now, you can see everything moves. But you can type into a text box, so go to Insert, Text Box, Draw Text Box, click and drag out a text box, and then you can just simply type your letter in the text box and it won't move all these graphics. You can do that if you want to. Again, if you click away, you'll see there is a dark outline. So again, you can get rid of that by going to Shape Format, No Outline, and then when you click away, you can see you've just got your text. So that's one way to do it. But the other way is to put all of this into the headers and footers. It will be grayed out, but when you save it as a PDF or you go to print, then it will look just like this. It'll be absolutely fine. So let me show you how to do that now. So all you need to do is select everything, holding down that Command or Control key, not forgetting these little graphics. You need to go to Group and then select Group. And now we've grouped everything together and we can move it all around as one. Now I need to copy it, so I'm going to press Command or Control C. Then I'm just going to move this to one side. I'm going to double click at the top of my document. And you can now see I'm in the headers and footers. All I'm going to do is press Command or Control V to paste it all. Don't worry, I know it looks a bit funky at the moment. Let's put that letterhead to where we want it, where it was before. Double click in this middle area of your document. This is the original design. So all we need to do is delete that. And now all of this is in your headers and footers. And now when I type and I hit the return key, nothing moves. In addition to this, if I keep hitting the return key as if I was typing and I needed a second page, then it's copied over onto that second page beautifully. If you didn't have this text and these graphics in the headers and footers, then it wouldn't copy across. You'd have to physically copy and paste everything to your second page. And it does make it all a little bit clunky if the graphics aren't in the headers and footers. So I'm just going to copy some text into here. Now you can see I've used a text box for this particular demonstration because it's far easier. Using the text boxes allows you to move everything around quite easily. You can move it left and right. If you don't quite like where it sits on the page, you can reduce the width of your text and make it look perfect. Make sure it's in the center, go to shape format, align, align to center. That's all perfectly lined up. So if you now want to save this as a PDF, go to File, Save As, go down to File Format, click on the drop down and click PDF. Then when you save it as a PDF, all of these colours will be vibrant, and again, if you want to print it, the colours will be as they were originally. So I hope that's helped you today. If it has, please like and subscribe and have a great day.